This is Cricbuzz chatter. It's the end of day 2 of the Headingley test. Just as I was logging on, I saw someone I've known for a while. I've seen him for a while, but I've never seen him beaming like that. Michael, come on. Michael, it's been a good day for England, so I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to see you in a tie because you've smartened things up, Harsha. Of the 2 days that India have given us on the actual cricket pitch, you smarting up proceedings with a tie. It's been a remarkable 2 days for England. High class Test match cricket. They've had to work hard, of course, but I think they haven't had to work as hard as they possibly thought they would have to because of the just the poor performance that India have put in. I don't know what India did between Lords and Headingley. I've no idea, but they certainly not arrived at Headingley with any kind of mindset and mentality that you're required to be really competitive in these conditions. But England have been exceptional.
I think you guys just took a paintbrush and decided, one of those magic paintbrushes. I want some cloud there. Okay, just a cloud a little bit there. Okay, I want Anderson. Okay, I'll put something there for Anderson. Oh, it's Bumrah. Let me take it all away now. I just wonder if it was lengths or the lines. We're going to talk about India's bowling a fair bit, but I want to talk to Michael. No, not about Root. Just wait for a while. I'm going to talk about Dawid Malan. I mean, Dawid Malan is a product of that great English nursery of batsmanship, right? He was born in London, though. He was born in England, and then went across to South Africa, came back, Middlesex, and then guess what? He moved to Yorkshire. So, but what I saw of Malan, and you see the game very differently, you were out there, was someone who was decisive with what he was doing. I thought his front foot play was good. His back foot play was even better. I don't know if it was because India bowled where he would have liked it, but he looked very assured, Michael. He looked like someone who didn't have a batting average of 28 and had been left out, but as someone who belonged at that number.
Yeah, I think what's happened with Dawid Malan over the last couple of years that he's obviously been left out of the Test team. He's found his international confidence in T20 cricket. He's one of the best T20 players in the world. He's number 1 ranked. And I think that belief that he's found from being successful in that format has transcended into him believing that he actually is an international batter. Forget the format. He believes that whenever he walks out to bat, he believes he can face the Bumrahs, the Sharmas, the Shamis, the Sirajas, the Jadejas. I think it'd be more challenging with facing R. Ashwin, but he's not playing. But I just think he's got the belief in his game to be able to play. I like his calmness to play T20 cricket under that amount of pressure. You do need a strong mentality because you're under so much pressure every single ball that you face in T20 cricket to score, rotate, and you've got to have skills. And I just looked at a number 3. He came in a very, very healthy position. There's no pressure on the game, no pressure on the score. So he arrived at the crease with the ball not swinging or seaming. So it was as easy as he'll probably get it over the next 7 or 8 months. It's not going to get any easier, but I just like his mindset. I just like the way that he bats. I think he's that number 3 that England have been missing, a bit of calmness as well. He's got a beautiful off drive. We saw quite a few of those shots through the offside that a David Gower like. It's poetry when he plays like that. And he's got experience. And I think, Harsha, you've been around international cricket for a long, long time. When you find that inner belief in yourself that you belong there, and you tell yourself, I belong around these surroundings, around these people, it goes a long way to you going out there and performing. And I think that is what's happened now with Malan in all formats of the game. I think he'll be quite consistent.
I also think that we're starting to see something else in international cricket. If you have a base in first-class cricket, you can't obviously not have a base in first-class cricket and move to Test match cricket. But I think the pressure of playing high-pressure franchise cricket, really, or playing T20 internationals, you're constantly playing high-pressure cricket against some of the best players in the world. And I think we're starting to see a stream of T20 players now coming into international cricket. Earlier, we looked down at it, it's coming from T20, but they're playing very high-intensity cricket. And I thought, I'm just looking at Malan, the cameras these days come in so close, and he was looking relaxed, he was smiling, as it didn't look like an average of 28.75. Okay, we've got to that stage now. Tell us, Michael, all yours, your boy.
Take it off.
Your boy. I mean, what? Comes to the same path that you did. Yes, I want India to win. I'll be very honest. I want India to do well. But I saw some of the shots Joe Root played today, and I said, I want to watch this as well. There's something about seeing a player, the height of his powers, making the game look easy. 100 at what, 120 odd balls. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he made it look so easy. In my view, he's the now #1 Test player in the world. With the way that he's playing, there's no one playing better. His competition aren't playing other than Virat, so you have to transcend into that position because of the way that he's played in 2021. You know that you've got a special player in special form that when he walks out there and he gets to 10, everyone went, he's getting 100. You could see, his movements are pure. He's got this great alignment going on. He's playing nice and straight. He's playing the ball late. He's playing exactly the same way, Harsha, for 3 Test matches. And I'll ask you, yes, our Ashwin, you look back to the Australian series where he got Steve Smith out 3 times. He should be playing. But I look at the seam bowlers for India. They are delivering the same length to Joe Root now 3 consecutive Test matches, and he's helped himself to 300s. Now, surely you've got a ball for it. He scored 8% of over his 500 runs in the series down the ground. So why haven't India arrived at Henley and go, right, what did he do at Lords? What did he do at Trent Bridge? He just waited and went onto the back foot and played that dab and that put through the kind of cover point, and then he whips it on the onside from the back foot. He doesn't want to be coming forward. He doesn't want to be going down the ground. So why haven't India arrived at Henley and go, right, simple game plan. We're just going to pitch everything up to Joe Root, and we're going to offer a bit of a gap down the ground to say to him, you can drive it down there. Why they haven't come with a different tactic, I will never know, Harsha, because these are high-class players. They've got a Test team with over 600 Test matches of experience. They've got all this data analysis that I see, you see. And when you see only 8% scored down the ground throughout the whole series, why are India continuously bowling 4 stumps short of 11?
First of all, I just took my tie out. Let me put my collar up because never before has an extremely successful international captain turned to me and said, so why are they not doing that? Because you're supposed to have the answers. You may not be England's most successful captain for too much longer, Michael. The bad news is because Joe Root's played so well, he might get that 27th win and you've got 26. But you're absolutely right. We've been looking at the same pitch maps. There's a new V that's emerged with English batsmen, especially. It's not what the coaches told you. Play in the V, show the maker's name, play from extra cover to mid-wicket, play mid-off to mid-on. The V is now square. Joe Root's got 50% of his runs square. And the reason he's getting that is that they're giving him that width to play. We saw that with Hasib Hamid as well. Maybe it'll change. I thought India moved a little straighter today, which allowed him to pick runs out on the onside as well. But you used the word poetry, you used the word fluidity, fluency. One of the great advantages, I'm not trying to just talk up Michael because he's here with us, but I was in England in 2002. Michael, you in 2002 are batting a bit like that. If you don't want to hear the praise for yourself, because all you British are so self-deprecating, you can duck for a while if you want. But you know a thing or two about purple patches. We've got that up there now. Root's averaging 69, you're averaging 61. You made 1,481 runs in that period, 2002. Ajit Agarkar was saying today about how difficult it was. What is it about a purple patch? Do you just walk out there and say, I own this surface, you cannot get me out? Because you talked about the conversion. You said when he got to 10, he's getting to 100. The conversion was what was the problem for Root before. And now he's gliding there. He's got 600s. He's got 100 each of these Test matches. But what I enjoyed today, and that's something I wanted to ask you, and I'm taking a long time, I know, to get to that question, but he scored much quicker today. He didn't seem to say, okay, I'll bide my time. He walked in to say, I own this place. Is that what form does? Is that what ability does? What is it?
Yeah, great players can do that. They can read the situation, and because his team was so far ahead, he came in the 63rd over, an old ball, a tie in the attack.
I don't want to interrupt you, Michael, but did you feel that way in that purple patch? Did you feel, I'm just going to score runs every time I go out?
But not always nervous, always apprehensive about, will my feet be moving, and, getting balance and reading the pitch, making sure that you're watching the ball out of the bowler's hands. All the same nerves that you have for every single innings. But what I found in 2002, that once I got to 20, I thought I'm on my way again. The first 20 runs of any innings are always very, very tricky, and you've got to earn the right to get in. Doesn't matter what you've got before, and it doesn't matter how good your form is. The clarity is always there, though, because you've got so much confidence going in, because you've got so many runs. So clarity is very important, that you just go out with a clear mind of knowing where to score. And what Joe's finding is that India have not tried anything different. So he's going out to bat, and very quickly he's going, oh, this is very similar to Lords. This is very similar to Trent Bridge. And I had that for 2002, that India didn't try a great deal different to me. So within 20 runs, I thought, oh, this is very similar to what was the previous game and the previous game. So I'll just carry on playing in that same tempo. What an opposing team has to do, they have to do one of two things. With the bowlers that they've got, go completely different in terms of a tactic. So as soon as you go out there, they've got to do something completely different. So he's not seen that. Or they have to bring in a bowler. They have to bring in a bowler that he's not seen already, i.e. R. Ashwin has to play, because he's incredible. He's the best spinner in the world. And Joe Root needs something else to look at now from an Indian point of view, because he's going out there taking guard, and within 5 or 6 balls, he's going, this is the DVD that I had last week, and this is the DVD I had the week before. It's very easy for him. And I had that for that brief period in 2002. It all seemed very similar week after week when I was playing the Indian side throughout that summer of 2002.
You mentioned Ashwin a lot. There's one thing about Ashwin. He's a very inventive bowler, because his mind is constantly whirring. It has to be if you're a spinner and you want to survive. When he bowled to Steve Smith, and you brought that up, Steve Smith was going to be the big factor when India were playing Australia. In his first 2 innings, he had Smith once caught off the inside half of the bat, once caught off the outside half of the bat, because he was attacking both edges of the bat. And Australian tracks, are very hard on finger spinners. Nathan Lyon's a freak that he's actually bowled on those tracks. He's a second innings freak. But Ashwin was challenging both ends of both edges of the bat straight away. Initially, there's a bit of dampness. He got him out early. I think the plan that succeeded thereafter to Steve Smith, which was bowl into the body, take one half of the pitch away, of the ground away, bowl one way to him, because it succeeded initially with Steve Smith. He got runs after that. I think they're forcing Siraj to bowl that line. That's what I see from a distance. I'm watching it from on tube, because Siraj has an outswinger that's currently in quarantine. He's only bowling that ball slanting in, and I just don't know if Ishant Sharma's run out of fuel. He was struggling to get in. I think he's run out of fuel, and that meant that the moment England kept Bumrah away, they only had Shami to counter. I mean,
No, absolutely right. Look, whatever has happened to India this week, they've just not arrived with that intensity that you need at Test match level, and it's hard. I always look at a 5-match series, and you do have periods where it's not quite possible for your team to be on it all the time. Well, India have not been on it for 2 days here in Leeds.
Okay, it's time to put Michael Vaughan in the hot spot. The one thing that's always struck us about Virat, Michael, and we saw that from the time that 2014 Test in Adelaide, when he first became captain, because MS wasn't playing. And he said that in an interview to Dinesh Karthik as well, that he's always thinking, how am I going to win from here? And that's what's made him the player that he has. Now, suddenly you're saying, okay, 345 behind. Maybe it could be 375 behind. What do you do in a situation like this? Because unless your openers give you 150 for no loss, the game's going away. So how do you play this situation now? How do India play this situation?
Well, they have to kind of forget the scoreboard. They have to say to their batting unit, like, we've got 1 innings. Forget the score, forget the scoreboard. Pretend that we've won the toss. We're batting on this pitch today, and can we get a big score? But you can't do that over the course of the first hour or the first session. You as a batting unit individually have to work out your own mindset and your own game to understand how you're going to get that big individual score. And if you get 2 or 3 big individual scores, that 400 arrives and then the 500 arrive. But you can't get that big number without going through the processes of what you need, which is taking guard, watching the ball, seeing off the new ball, and then getting in and playing your way. It's almost like a free hand that I'm looking at here. They're not going to win the Test match. There's no chance. They will lose this week, I'm pretty sure. But can you find a bit of form from 1 or 2 of those players, Pujara, Rahane, Rohit Sharma? He can't be out to that pull shot once again. KL Rahul can't be out to that big drive once again. Virat himself needs to find that form and that rhythm. Great chance on a pitch that won't do a great deal for him to do so. So as much as I think India are going to lose the Test match quite convincingly, they can take quite a bit from this second innings individually to the next game, which starts next Thursday. 1 or 2 go and get hundreds. You never know. get 500, and then you say to England, "Go, good luck." A cheeky chase on day 5 morning, it won't be easy. But just go through the process individually of looking at every player in the dressing room, saying, "Me personally, I'm the captain. I've got to get some runs. I'm going to try and do that." But you individually try and work out how you're going to go about your processes best, against the Andersons and co. And stick your hand up and try and get a score for the team. And let's see when we do that what that.
If there's one thing the series has taught us, it is that things can change very quickly. It was 2 playing days ago that all the problems seem to be in the English camp. And suddenly you're saying, where's number 1, 2, 3 going to come from, right? What if Anderson doesn't do well? So all the problems were in the English camp after Lord's. 2 playing days later, the problems have all shifted to India. And India must think that maybe we can shift the problems back into the English camp. And a lot of that will come from how they play day 3. Okay, we've got a little bit of time left. We're going to go fast forward. Look up, Michael. I don't know where you are. Just look up. Can you conjure something up for me? Can you look up? Right towards the end of the day, the clouds had started to gather. Well, they probably gathered to watch Root and then they went away. But can you find some somewhere? Just up there somewhere. There's lots in Mumbai. If you want, I can send some across.
Sure. We do a lot of rain dances in the UK, and usually we're quite good at them. We produced a magnificent rain dance on the last day at Trent Bridge. I can promise you now, you can dance all night. You can dance for the next 48 hours. There is no rain arriving in Leeds. India are going to have to get 500 in the second innings to get any kind of sniff of pressure on the England side. And from what I see in terms of the mentality that they brought to Leeds this week, no chance. I'll say that early. No chance. From the kind of body language, everything about the Indian side so far this week has been very poor. And it's very difficult to go, right, switch on, let's get 500 now, because, forget Monday, forget the first day, forget the second day. We've now got to come and get this mentality back. Very difficult to do. No rain. 1-1.
I saw Djokovic play a game recently where he just said, "Okay, you can have this set because I'm going to come and just sweep you with the next 2." So I don't know if it can quite look at it like that.
And that may possibly happen. As soon as they realise that our Ashwin has to play, they've got a chance.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But the other factor that Michael mentioned, the tests are following very quickly apart. Bumrah's bowled 24-25 over. Shami's bowled 24-25. England will want to keep them going as long as possible. Recovery time is less. And then England have got this 39-year-old who's discovered. I mean, the world's searching for vaccines. On the other hand, Jimmy Anderson's just searching for this ageless pill that allows him to keep running in all the time. So we'll wait and see what happens. So thank you very much to Michael Vaughan. Tomorrow I will be back in a t-shirt. The tie is too much for me. I can't let Michael have a go at me once again. So we'll see what happens. Maybe tomorrow is not the last day of this test match, but do join us on Cricbuzz Chatter for that and much more.